Hello and welcome everybody back once again to the Screen to Speed Holiday Invitational. We are back for the second iteration of this round, and tonight it's going to be a whole lot of fun. We have, throughout the entire sim racing community, have brought together some of the most talented female sim racers in the world to come together on circuit at Okayama in the GR86s tonight. This is going to be an absolute thrilling race ahead of us. We have a car that's, well, a little bit slower than you're used to if you're used to watching Formula One or GT cars or any sort of real race cars, I guess you would call them. The GR86, maybe a little bit more of a road car than you're used to, but Okayama, of course, one of the temples of speed for Japan, absolute corker of a circuit that was founded back in 1990 and pretty much unchanged ever since. The circuit, of course, 2.3 miles with 13 corners, 7 to the left and 6 to the right. As I said, located in the Okayama Prefecture in Japan. On a good day, you can find about 200 different bird species in the area as well, some of which including the brown-eared bluebull, the gray wagtail, and the eastern spot-billed duck. But that's not what we're here for tonight. We're here for some race, and we're going to be getting into it very, very shortly. I have to tell you as well, of course, we're here for the Screen to Speed movement. That is what every one of these drivers is taking part in. A lot of them have taken part in previous Screen to Speed championships as well. We have returning drivers from last year's Holiday Invitational to make things even more exciting. One of those drivers being Sarah Dove, one of the driver that finished in second place last time around. She's back. And back for redemption, looking to maybe take it away from the rest of the field. This is going to be very, very fun. Looking at the qualifying, or the free practice session that I was just taking a look at some of the timings, they couldn't be closer. Literally, the top 5 was separated by less than 1/10 of a second. For anyone curious, that is a blink of an eye is about 2/10 of a second. So half the blink of an eye separating 5 of these quick sim racers out there. And this is just going to be amazing. You know, one of the things, of course, for Screen to Speed that I just absolutely love beyond a doubt is the fact that this is the only real esport that has a direct transferable pathway from sim to the real life. The skills are directly one-to-one transferable, and that's what we're going to display here tonight. We're here to show that not only the fact that women sim racers are here to drive and drive for good. Of course, they've been around the block for a long time. We have some professional racing drivers as well with us tonight. Some of those, of course, including but not limited to, as there's actually quite a few of real life drivers out there. We have, of course, Love 46, who's out there, one of the real life karting drivers, started karting back when she was 9 years old in Kazakhstan, won quite a few championships from there. We also have drivers from the sim, like Emma Galisso, one of the newer drivers to Assetto Corsa Competizione and iRacing as well. So very excited to see what she can put on offer for tonight. A couple other massive drivers that you may recognize the name of course, we have Paloa, one of the Argentinian's top karting and top karters and sim racers. So very excited to see. She's been karting since she was 9 back in 1996. Really looking forward to see what she can do. We also had Catherine Galliser. She started karting back in 2013. Jessica Wesser as well. So we're going to be seeing some big names on circuit and seeing just exactly what they can do when it comes down to it. And this is, again, going to be an absolute corker. With that, I think we built it up enough. Why don't we get down to the qualifying session and take a look at all of these drivers that I'm talking about and a few more. This is going to be an absolute exciting race. Stay tuned. We'll be jumping into it. Now down into quali, we can see the drivers out on circuit and ready to roll. They're getting their lap times out there, rather their out lap, the banker laps, of course, as Paul Jeffrey, one of my fellow commentators, would say, the most important thing that you can do. And if you're new to iRacing, or rather if you've been around iRacing and maybe you're just returning, you're going to notice something with the new physics. Every now and then you see a tire here dipping off into the grass, off into the gravel, and you might see that rejoining the circuit. This is, of course, due to the most recent iRacing update. That is the sim that we are running on, one of the best simulators out there. And you can see, look at that, the gravel now being dynamic. You're able to take the gravel from off the circuit and bring it back on. Now, you might say, why the heck would I want to do that? And you're right, you don't, ideally. But of course, this is an ideal world that we're speaking in. We don't live in that. Just a little dip off like that will send some gravel back on the circuit, and your traction is going to be feeling it. Same with the mud that's off on the side. You go off into the grass, you'll be bringing that onto the circuit, and you can, well, pretty much cover the whole track if you're not careful enough. And I expect to see a little bit of that tonight. We can see Okayama. Let's talk a little bit about the circuit. First off, absolutely a beautiful location to be in here, the Okayama Prefecture in Japan. You can see grass is not far away from any side of these drivers. Right off to the left, right off to the right, it's never far. The gravel as well. So do expect to see that dynamic gravel line starting to develop, and there's even cars bringing it onto circuit. Now, let's talk a little bit about these lap times that we're seeing as well. Shisha Fitzpatrick off the bat here with an amazing lap time into the 43s. She had a 44.0 at the end of free practice, so already improving. And so we'll see. Can Saoirse hold on as Sarah Dove, the Scotswoman from behind, looking to dethrone her? Just about a 10th off the mark right now. 1.3 is the current gap. Let's see exactly what we can do. Welcome as well to everybody in chat. We're over here on the Init Esports channel, of course. Init Esports here for the Screen to Speed Holiday Invitational. Massive event here in a great opportunity as well for each one of these drivers. As I was alluding to earlier, this is one of the very few esports out there that has a direct link to real life, and that's our whole goal with the Screen to Speed movement. We're dedicated to supporting women in gaming and motorsports, and the initiative was initially launched to improve the inclusion of more female identifying, and non-binary to help inspire the more underrepresented genders in the motorsports community, as in all of esports, of course. We're trying to create a pipeline from sim racing directly to real life, of course, in this historically male-dominated industry. And our big goal, ROI. Now you might say, well, it's return on investment. No. It's return on inclusion. That is our entire goal. Return on inclusion is what we're looking for here tonight. And of course, we're taking part in multiple championships throughout, or all of these drivers taking part in multiple championships throughout multiple simulators as well with the Screen to Speed movement, spanning across not just iRacing, Gran Turismo, F124, as well as ACC, and a few other sims to join that as well. Lots of opportunities for these drivers, and I'm very excited to see what they can do. There's also, well, I guess I should explain the format as well for what these drivers are doing. This is just a more just for fun event. This is, of course, the second iteration of the Screen to Speed Holiday Invitational. Now, that's not to say there aren't prizes on the line, because there are. It's just that these drivers, we have a lot of social media influencers, we have a lot of aspiring sim racers, ones to give the opportunity to here. So we're going to be seeing a very wide range of talent, but you can see up at the front, certainly quite talented, no doubt. I got to say, Saoirse, quite dominant at this stage with Sarah Dove. So we'll see if anyone, Nina Han or Rennie, can manage to close that back up. Also, Victoria Thomas, definitely never count her out, or Elizabeth Ruby Acosta, the global, or one of the drivers that qualified for the Global Esports Games, or rather for the United States sim racing team as well. So some big names out on circuit. This, again, absolutely amazing movement that we have here, and I am so honored to be a part of it. I'm Mike Noss. I guess I haven't mentioned that just yet. Absolute honor to be here. Big shout out, of course, to Steffi Bao, one of the heads of the Init Esports, as well as the Screen to Speed movement. If you guys haven't already, check out their Instagram over on Init. You can find a link to go and vote for Steffi to be one of the heads, or of course, of eSport. Go in there, vote Steffi. Vote Steffi. She's earned it. I've already cast mine. No biases here, of course, but either way, this Steffi doing a great job in not just America, but over the course of all of the world, pretty much, and in particular with America. She's gotten involved with the Sim for STEM movement as well. Of course, that was launched back this year with the Girl Scouts of Central Indiana and impacted more than 17,000 young girls so far, teaching them how to drive in simulators, giving them a passion for not just racing, but engineering as well. That's something that you often don't see, is the behind the scenes folks. It's not just about getting these fine women out on circuit. It's about getting them involved in the motorsport sphere in general. And again, this historically male-dominated sport. We're looking to change that up and, again, make it just more equal as it should be. Now, with that being said, let's go back to the qualifying here. I'd love to jump on board, if we can, with one of these drivers and go through a lap here of Okayama, as this is one of those special circuits. It's a very I would say not a difficult circuit, but not an easy one either. Of course, the nature of the corners, as on cue right there, perfect example of what exactly can happen. A bit of a tank slapper, unfortunately, for Sarah Dove. Not going to help her in her hunt for pole position, which Nina Hahn has managed to find herself, dethroning Shisha Fitzpatrick there by about 1.5 tenths. Again, the blink of an eye, 2 tenths for anyone curious. And if anyone wants to know what can happen in that time, well, the sailfish, the fastest animal in the sea, can swim about 25 feet in the time between Sarah Dove and Nina Hahn. Incredible. What are you going to do with that information? That I don't know, but you now have it. And there is the link. Thank you very much to Yvonne in chat for posting the link. Vote Steffi, everybody. Vote Steffi. Is this invitation only? Yes, this is an invitation only event on this one. But again, if you are looking to get involved with Screen to Speed, I'm sure Yvonne in chat can help out. There's plenty of drivers or plenty of folks in this community as well that can provide you with the links required to get involved with Screen to Speed, with Init Esports, with all of these wonderful movements that are being brought to not just, again, North America, but the whole world. But of course, being brought to North America, a true little spot in my heart. Now, again, back to quali. Nina Hahn on the top of the time charts as we speak. Let's see if anyone can come through. We have Shisha Fitzpatrick, who, again, keeping an eye on her. She's a driver that has quite a bit of experience. Just talking briefly about what she has accomplished in the past, she has taken part in the Screen to Speed and almost took victory at the ADAC Sim Expo in 24. Just a couple months ago, in fact. She took first place in race 2 and 4th place in race 1. And unfortunately, as Victoria Thomas is a little bit below her on the position, she took that victory for that championship as well. She took 1st and 3rd, able to secure the overall points victory at the Screen to Speed in the ADAC Expo for the women's arena. So very, very cool. She's also competed in British F4 championships, took part in the Screen to Speed Las Vegas to win a real-life test session in a Porsche 911 Cup car. I'm, by the way, talking about Shisha Fitzpatrick here. And she also loves motorcycles. Those are just some of the very interesting stats and facts that I had picked up about her in this race, and let's see if she can add one more notch to her belt with the Screen to Speed victory here on the Holiday Invitational. That's what she's hunting for. Let's see if she can make that dream become a reality. Other drivers that are of note for certain: Victoria Thomas, the driver I mentioned that won the ADAC Expo for the women's arena, took 1st and 3rd. They also have Sean down from the Netherlands with a very strong foundation in GT7 and F124. She's new to iRacing, so we'll see what Sean can manage out there. Currently sitting down in 18th position and 4 seconds off the good, looking for a little bit more time. Now, Nina Hahn, the pole position sitter right now, the number 21 car. She's a prestigious content creator that's representing Olympus Esports and has managed to, of course, take part in here tonight. But with that, quali has now come down to, or is getting ready to come down to a close here. We still have a few more drivers out on circuit that need to set their laps, but no, there we are. Nina Hahn, your pole sitter, Fitzpatrick alongside, and Sarah Dove taking 3rd. Now, just stick around shortly here because, of course, we have the race coming up, but we're also going to have a nice word from our pole sitter of Nina Hahn. I'm excited to hear from her, and we'll be hearing again from her very, very briefly. Now, with that, it is going to be an exciting, exciting race with the amount of lap times, the differences that we saw when it comes down to the mere tenths of seconds separating these drivers. And again, when you think about this, over the course of a 2.3 mile, 3.7 kilometer circuit, they're separated by basically hairs when it comes down to the distance. It is truly, truly incredible. And I'm, again, just looking forward to see what these drivers can put on offer. Of course, we have the drivers a bit further down the field that we can, of course, pay mention to. We can't forget about anyone out here tonight. Everyone is out for a good time, not necessarily to win. But on that, of course, the winner is going to win themselves a nice $50 in iRacing credits, 2nd and 3rd also taking home 25. So at the end of the day, the top 3 are going to be receiving a nice little handout, and of course, just making it worth their time here to, again, get the exposure, get the the experience under their belt as well, racing with all of these sim racers. Of course, I'm sure they're used to racing with each other at this point, but they're going to be racing for a while now with these Screen to Speed championships, and especially into 2025 with how popular Screen to Speed is going to become. I'm almost certain. I cannot wait to see exactly what we have in fruition for us. Still just waiting on the word here from the interview, and we should be hearing from her very, very shortly. Of course, other drivers that I wanted to mention out there tonight as well. Elizabeth Ruby Acosta, one that, again, qualified. I had the pleasure of commentating for the global, or for the American esports team for the global esports game. And she did manage to qualify for that one, take the first position over some other drivers. And it does seem like we are going to actually be heading down to the race very, very shortly rather than so. We will be seeing, hopefully we can get a nice word with Nina. Love to hear from her and exactly how she is getting on into this race, but also chat. Let's hear from you guys a little bit. Who are you rooting for? Let us know who you're supporting out there. I know a lot of these drivers, they have communities, they have fan bases. They are, of course, a lot of them content creators. And so let us know, who is your driver of choice out there? Is it Nina Hahn? Is it Victoria Thomas? Is it Saoirse Fitzpatrick? Or is it somebody else? Victoria Amelio, Ainsley Riot, as well as Bell Wells. I mean, who are you supporting? There are so many wonderful names out there to pick, and any one of them is the correct choice. And of course, big thank you to everyone as well behind the scenes. We got Garrett on production, Sophie behind the scenes as well, and everybody that makes everything possible at Init Esports. I'm Mike Noss, just here to bring the word to everybody. That's my whole goal, and I absolutely am excited and thrilled to share this with you tonight because we have some exciting racing on offer. It's a 30-minute race for the drivers to take part in at Okayama. No pit stops. The qualifying done and dusted, so we'll see exactly where that leads us to. And Yvonne, they're supporting all of the fine ladies out on track. I love it. Of course, Yvonne, they're one of the main productions behind the scenes as well, one of the moderators in the Init Esports, and the Init Talk host, of course, as one of the drivers in this race. Love 46 was just on the Init Talks not too long ago, and Yvonne there was the host for that. It was an amazing interview. Go back and check it out. It's on the YouTube channel for Init Esports, as well as our Twitch channel, and of course, you can head to initesports.gg for any information regarding anything that I'm saying here today. That's where you can find all of the meat and potatoes that you're looking for. So big thank you there to everybody, of course. Now, talking a little bit more about some of the track, talk about the car. Actually, I haven't talked about the GR86 yet, have I? I mentioned it just a little bit earlier. These cars are not sports cars. These are not race cars. They're not supercars. They're race cars. They're going to be racing tonight, but they're not a hypercar. They're not going to be going 200 plus miles an hour. No, their 0 to 60 is about 5.9 seconds, or otherwise about the same as my Toyota Camry. With that, a 0 to 100 kilometers an hour at about 5.9 as well. Top speed of 134 miles an hour, or 216 kph, with about 220 brake horsepower getting delivered down to the wheel. It's a 2.4 liter flat, 2.4 liter 4-cylinder engine. It's not really too special. It's just a Toyota that will never break, more than likely, and coming in at a hefty 3,000 pounds, or 1,300 plus kilograms. It's not a light car either. It's not that quick. It's not that powerful. It's not that light, which means that they're not all around the easiest to control. They're a little slower than an MX-5. And one of the big things with these cars is you sort of have to dance on the pedals when you're driving them in order to get the optimum lap time out. You really got to use the brake and the accelerator simultaneously and kind of bleed on and off them just to get the back end to kind of pitch out as much as you can. But you got to be careful with that because these cars are understeering nightmares. So you'll go from violent understeer to violent oversteer within a matter of, to be honest, a blink of an eye. It can happen just that quick, where all of a sudden you just overcooked a corner slightly, you're going in too deep, and your back end is now facing the wrong way. We're going to probably see that tonight. I certainly expect to. I did that a couple times in my testing when I was driving on this circuit, just getting a feel for those cars. Some other stuff about them, of course, they have a very soft brake pedal, very soft suspension. They're all around just a very nice car to drive, to be completely honest. They're very I don't want to say easy. They're not easy to drive by any stretch of the imagination, but they aren't difficult either. A lot more relatable to the road cars that you would be used to driving yourself at home versus, well, not at home, but on the street, versus the simulator cars that you're used to, the big F1 cars, the big super light formulas, and all of these cars that have uber's amounts of torque and enough to pull down the Sistine Chapel. But these cars, not quite enough for, honestly, they don't even have enough to really tenderize a burger, just to be completely honest. So we'll be seeing exactly how they can deliver that power onto the circuit, dance around, and again, try to keep the dynamic gravel line that is now into iRacing off the circuit. That'll be the goal. Will it be the execution? That I don't think so. Of course, no plan survives first contact, especially with the enemy, as the saying is old as time, and we're going to be seeing that prove true tonight. Of course, we do have a brief little 10-minute break here before we get down into the actual race. The drivers just getting their final preparations done, the slight little setup change. Actually, hopefully they're not doing any setup changes, as they should have already had those all ironed in, dialed in for the race that is going to be ahead of them tonight. And on a circuit that is, again, Okayama, one that's rife with history, as well as some Formula One history, which you may not know, the viewer. They did race Formula One back on this circuit. It was a long time ago. Of course, to be fair, it was founded back in 1990, so it can't be too long ago. But it raced for back in 1994 and 1995, had the Japanese, not the Japanese Grand Prix. This, I still think they raced Suzuka, but it was the Pacific Grand Prix, and Michael Schumacher took both events. Shocker. He was, of course, one of the dominant drivers at the time, so no surprises there, but it is, of course, still of note, and plenty of racing series as well on this one today, all the way through GT World races here, various motorbike series as well. Back in 2015, 2019, somewhere around there, they added the chicane into the middle of the track to allow for that shorter layout for motorbikes to take part in championships here. And we know Saoirse Fitzpatrick, she loves her motorbike, so heck, maybe one day she'll be driving on Okayama in real life on a motorbike. It's wishful thinking, but you never know. Of course, that would be, I'd give my right leg to do that, to be completely honest, but, and I'm sure Saoirse would as well. That would be absolutely amazing. But no, of course, with the screen to speed movement, anything is possible, and we will never know until, well, of course, it happens. Plenty of opportunities throughout these various races as well to gain notoriety amongst the big teams, to gain amongst the drivers as well, just getting known amongst everybody, getting your social medias built. This is one of the amazing things that Screen to Speed and Init Esports as a whole will offer to some of these drivers, to all of these drivers, I should say, not some of them, all of these wonderful drivers out on track. And yeah, like I say, it's just amazing. It's all around great. Big thank you to Fanatec as well, of course, for being one of the partners here with Init Esports on the Screen to Speed movement, as well as everybody else involved behind the scenes. Again, we are going to be getting down to it very shortly. I think the race session should be getting underway very, very soon. We're going to be about I think another minute or so before the drivers do get out onto circuit. We just have a couple of them currently doing some practice laps right now. And again, just taking a look in what we can see from the data ahead of our faces right now, the lap times are still not going anywhere. I'm looking at 40 thousandths of a second separating Ruby Acosta and Nina Hahn in this practice session. Again, it's just practice, so it doesn't necessarily mean that that is how the results are going to fall, of course, during the race. It's one thing to be able to drive a circuit perfectly, just to be able to drive it in full without having to worry about your one lap being ruined. It's a completely different story when we're talking about the actual race itself. You got cars around you, you have 30 minutes on the clock, and one mistake could cost you absolutely everything. And that's racing, to be fair. It's the nature of the beast in this motorsport that we absolutely love. And we're going to be seeing that. We'll see how the drivers can contend. Again, Saoirse Fitzpatrick on in second, with the likes of Nina Hahn taking pole position. And we are, again, going to be getting into that very, very shortly. Now's the time, chat. Let the cheers fly. Let us know who you're supporting. And also get involved here. !Discord. Get involved with the Init Discord as well. Get yourself involved with absolutely everything here. See all of the announcements and everything here at Screen to Speed, and including this holiday invitational. Now, though, the grid is set. Nina Hahn on pole position in the number 21 Prismatic Motorsports alongside Saoirse Fitzpatrick. Lined up in third position here is going to be Sarah Dove, and alongside Sarah, bringing up your second row, is going to be Rennie. Next to Rennie there, Victoria Thompson in fifth position with Jenny Wilson in sixth. The cars, though, eager to get going here as all of the lights are on. The buildup is underway here, and now we have the Christmas tree ready to go alight. 5 red lights are on. And we are gonna go green, green, green racing here at Okayama for the Holiday Invitational. Nina Hahn off to a very stellar start as she's getting away like a cannon. Down to the inside there is gonna be Saoirse Fitzpatrick, but she has to settle in for second. Victoria Thomas also taking third position and settling that one down. Sarah Dove dropping early into fourth. A little bit of gravel already getting thrown into the ranks as we go 2x2 Noah's Ark through the first sector. Into the S's here, you need to settle up the overtaking opportunities. They get a little bit lower through here, and there we see all the drivers settling in to negotiate who's going to be ahead for the lap 1. Nina Hahn over Saoirse Fitzpatrick, Victoria Thomas, Sarah Dove, Rebecca Rennie, and Emma Galliso. Your top 6 right now. Jenny Wilson in 7th, Ruby Acosta 8th, Love 46 in 9th, and rounding out your top 10 is Victoria Mello. That's going to change up, though, as we get along here. And now taking a look at some of the drivers, we'll see, can the Irish woman go for a move potentially onto the leader? Currently, we're taking a look at this mid-pack. This is Ainsley Riot, down in 16th position, battling with Gelliser for the bottom steps. He's trying to get into that top 10 right now, but you can see the squabbling is fierce in the back. No driver wanting to give it up. There's a little bit of a look there up ahead from, who is that? That's going to be Renee, actually, who's thinking about getting a move sent onto her, I think, as Emma Galliso trying to get a hurry up on early. Emma Galliso, one of the ACC specialists, looking to show that she can do more in iRacing. The two, though, at the front, Nina Hahn leading Saoirse Fitzpatrick. And Fitzpatrick here kind of falling off the back. You can see their lovely job, though, to close it right back up as the pack separates from second to third. Victoria Thomas is a car spinning in the back. That's going to be Victoria Melio, who's round in the wrong way. Absolute calamity on the end of lap 1. Hopefully she can get that car back underway and on circuit. Thankfully, I don't think any other driver is getting collected. Look at this, though, side by side. Sarah Dove and Victoria Thomas, elbows out racing. They're wrestling the ocean right now, and Sarah Dove, well, she came out on top. Victoria Thompson looking to come back, though. She's not done just yet. Has to worry, though, about the cars behind. That's Rebecca Rennie, who's looking to make moves, but no, Victoria Thompson takes the position back from Sarah Dove. Sarah, though, the previous second place finisher from last year's Holiday Invitational, she wants to win this. She is not done yet. Side by side, it is the slowest drag race of all time, but look at that, a bump draft from behind gives the helping hand to Rebecca Rennie. Victoria Thomas here, a little bit upset, gets her elbows out as Ruby Acosta getting stuck alongside. A little bit of bumping and banging. Not going to work out, though, unfortunately, for Ruby at this stage, but she is reeling in Rennie, hook, line, and sinker. That's what it seems like for the time. The 59 car here, trying to make moves, trying to go left, trying to go right, but no gaps opening. Your best overtaking opportunities are going to be into that first corner and into that back hairpin. Everywhere else, these are very high-speed corners, and really high-speed, high commitment is the goal. And of course, that makes it difficult to overtake. Love the Christmas liveries as well. There, Ruby Acosta bringing a nice holiday-themed GR86 to the equation. I see a car diving in a pit lane. That's Emma Galliso. Problems early on for Emma Galliso, and I'm hoping that isn't going to be a technical difficulty. She is going to hopefully get back out on circuit. Back to the battle, though. Ruby Acosta has a spinner in front of her. That's Sarah Dove. Sarah drops it on the second lap. Oh, no. That is a disaster. Almost caught Ruby Acosta out as well, but she, with absolute lightning reaction times, managed to dip, duck, dodge, and dive out of the way. And Victoria Thomas caught a little bit of a break herself. She was on the favorable line and didn't get that position lost. Looking a bit further back, this is Love 46 in 6th position. She's got a bit of a window to the back and in front, but a great job so far. She's gained 4 positions, tied with Ruby Acosta for 4 gains. Belle Wells, though, currently sitting in 10th position. She is our biggest gainer overall. 6 positions gained for her so far. An absolute stonking effort for the number 12. Let's see what the Kazakh driver, though, of Lubov 46 can do. She has a bit of the world behind her, but not going to be, again, that close to the car in front. The lead battle has not gone anywhere. This is Shisha Fitzpatrick and Nina Hahn absolutely at each other's throats. Germany versus Ireland right now. And this is an exciting scrap. I will say I love the posturing from Shisha Fitzpatrick as she's basically just trying to wait for a mistake from Nina Hahn, or force her into one rather. Trying to just capitalize, not go for an aggressive send. There you can see she says, oh, well, I'm going to go for the inside. But no, she doesn't actually really have the intention. Does stick onto that slipstream, though, glued onto her like a license plate. Tucks out there onto the outside, tries to go the long way around. Switch it back up for the first corner, but no, a great defense from Nina Hahn. She planted that car perfectly to hold the switchback line off and not allow a slingshot of a Fitzpatrick to come on through. Behind that, still battling between Ruby Acosta, Renee, and Victoria Thomas. It's fights everywhere you look right now. Electric battles, and oh my goodness, we have a send here from Fitzpatrick and a bit of a mistake from Nina Hahn. She goes deep into the hairpin, and Shisha Fitzpatrick, now your race leader. Nina Hahn, though, not going to be too thrilled with that. I can already see her face in the disappointment, and she's going to be trying to come immediately back into the next hairpin. We take a look back, though, side by side between Victoria Thompson and Rebecca Renee. No, excuse me, that's Elizabeth Ruby Acosta who is in front there and just took home 3rd position. Ruby Acosta, the United States Esports Federation driver. She is showing why she is the champion, at least in that regard. From ACC to iRacing, clearly has made not much of a difference. She is just dominant. 5 positions gained so far. There was a little bit of a look from Rebecca Renee as well. She's down 1 position from where she started. Looking to make that back up. Can't keep out, though, with all of this squabbling happening. I'm just looking at lap times. Lubov not too far behind now, only about 4.5 seconds. I'm thinking we're going to have a 5-way fight, potentially a 4-way fight for the bottom step of the podium in the next few minutes. 7 minutes into this race with 30 minutes total. Who is going to take the gold? There's still a long ways to go. No mandatory stops, but the fuel is going to probably run out for these drivers, and they're more than likely going to have to take a stop. So we'll see how the strategy plays in. Probably around that 15-minute mark, expect drivers to go for their pit stops. Here's Sarah Dove on the recovery drive. Nicely done. A textbook overtake into the first corner over the likes of Micah, and does get on by Plug there. Not really one to fight that too hard, I would imagine. She knows that Sarah here is on a mission and was up in the front running positions and just looking to recover. Unfortunate what happened to Sarah. Still not sure what happened either. Unfortunately, she just was facing the wrong way on the final corner. And of course, the driver that took part in this championship last year finished 2nd, looking to recover back there, hopefully. Jessica Visser, though, to the outside right now. This is going to be a move on to Belle Wells. They should be done and dusted, or I think this is actually Belle Wells, my apologies, making the move on to Vesser. Not actually going to get it done. I thought that one was fully sealed. This is the nature of these cars, though. They have very low speeds at the top speed and very short braking zones simultaneously, which makes overtaking really tough. You got to be kind of just on the ball for the most part and ready to outbrake your opponent when you're braking so late. Oh no, Jenny Wilson round the wrong way, and there's a chicane in the hairpin, and hopefully nobody else got caught up there. I think there was no harm, no foul, as now Belle Wells is going to stick on behind. I think that is Jessica Vissers. So a position change there down the road, but let's see what that exactly means in the long run. And actually, if we take a look back to the lead, we've had a change in leaders. Nina Hahn has come back. Shisha Fitzpatrick dispatched once more. We have a new race leader again. The 21 takes the lead over Fitzpatrick. Ruby Acosta, though, is only 1.6 seconds back. These two at each other's throat. It's a knife fight in a phone booth for the race lead right now. That's Fitzpatrick diving to the outside to switch it back up to the in. Oh, she loves that corner. The hairpin there working wonders for her. This is where all of her overtakes have come so far. Not this time, though. Fitzpatrick here in the lead, where it's a drag race to decide exactly who's it gonna be. All of this squabbling, though, has cost them. Now they have another competitor in this mix, Ruby Acosta. She's joined the party. Nina Hahn, though, commits round to the outside and does get the defense. Very nice job there from the German driver, Fitzpatrick. Looking to capitalize here, but now she's looking in her rearview mirror as well as her front windscreen. Ruby Acosta has joined the party, folks, and she is hungry. Looking for a move early, I would imagine, as she just wants to get that kind of the element of surprise, capitalize on it here as Ruby looks for the switchback attempt into the middle sectors. That's not going to work out too well, or is it? She's going to commit to the outside here of Mike Knight corner, and now, okay, here we go. Pit stops beginning. Ruby Acosta gets the position, but only because Fitzpatrick goes into pit lane. So that should be her one stop here for the night. The other drivers, they continue on. This, though, is going to cause some reactions, I predict. Nobody really calling her strategy. Is this too early of a stop from Fitzpatrick? I don't think it is. I really love this, actually, as she clearly is quicker. I don't want to say clearly, as they both honestly are about the same pace. But Nina Hahn, just a little bit, I would say, slower, at least when she's following. And so she just wants to get ahead here, go for the undercut, take that alternate strategy to find the track position. So long term, that means that she's going to be suffering on tires, but short term, she might be gaining a position. And that, of course, would be the lead. Here's a send here from what looks to be the likes of Jana Schaefer, who actually I think is ahead here. The number 6 car is battling with the 81. No, 81 is the Schaefer. My apologies here. There we go. So Schaefer looking to make moves here onto Love 46. Love 46 on a charge again. One of those drivers that started a bit further back, didn't have the greatest qualifying session, but Lubov here up into 5th position. Well, let's make that not 6th, because she is going to hold on to the brakes there just a little bit later and keep the position. Jana Schaefer definitely, I think, got caught out by that, and now behind them is going to be Paloa joining the party. We have a real-life karting champion in the background now. Schaefer looks to the inside, doesn't find the move. Love 46, you got to wake up pretty early in the morning if you're going to make that dummy work onto Lubov. No beans to be found just yet. Looking a bit further back here is Jenna Wilson in 9th position, battling with Belle Wells, and Belle Wells also with Jessica Visser alongside for company. Oh, as we tune away, though, we need the Lubov battle here back underway, and it looks like I think Lubov did lose the position. Not just one, Schiffer got the position over her. So did Polo. So did Rene. What has happened to Lubov? She is plummeting down the field. There must have been an incident here if we can take a look. Yeah, there's certainly. She rejoins the circuit. Yeah, Lubov here down into 10th. Oh, no. Absolutely. God, no, she pit. Chill. It's fine. Everything's fine. Either way, she made her pit stop. So that's actually what happened there. She didn't drop down the field. I should pay attention to my timing charts a bit better. Either way, Victoria Thompson now in the background for the battle for the lead. We know what she can do. She has won screen to speed events in the past, but now she has to worry about other winners as well. Ruby Acosta, Nina Hahn, both drivers are absolutely electric. And keep in mind, Saoirse Fitzpatrick is also in this battle. She's just made her one mandatory stop for the night, and now will be looking to join this pack, presumably ahead. Just taking a look at lap times, a 1:43 was a best lap time there from Saoirse. She had a 1:47 last time around, so of course, because she took her pit stop. We'll be keeping an eye on her lap times this time to see exactly where she stands with this lead pack, because if she's quicker than Nina Hahn, she's almost certainly going to be ahead. So we'll be keeping a very close eye there. Victoria Thompson, though, looks like she's kind of just found that maintenance phase right now. She's about 1 second to the good off of Ruby Acosta. And I think right now the tires might be playing a role, the fuel as well, just getting into that saving, that maintenance mode. to try to play the long-term game. That's really what we're looking for here. Of course, a 30-minute race isn't the longest term in general, but you still obviously need to think about the end goal, which is the checkered flag. There we see some pit stops happening as well. Micah into pit lane for Plug. The battle rages on, though, in the front. Ruby Acosta, Nina Hahn, Victoria Thompson, and maybe soon to be Jana Schiffer, to be completely honest. Schiffer here in the 4th position. She is 1 second to the good of Paloa, but Jana 10 seconds off the back of Victoria Thompson, so she needs to find some lap time. It's not definitely out of the picture, as anything can happen in racing, and it normally does. So we'll be keeping a close eye there. Other driver to keep you updated on, of course, Sarah Dove. I know there's a lot of Sarah Dove fans in chat. She has made her 1 mandatory stop, and she is leading, not quite leading, actually. She is ahead of the mid-pack, at the very least, for her pit phase. So I think she is going to come out in a very optimistic position, to be honest. I think despite the spin that she had early on, she's making the best of a bad situation and looking to gain the most out of it, which is all you really can ask for, to be completely honest, when you have an incident like that. And I'm not even sure if it was her fault. There might have been contact involved. We didn't quite catch that, unfortunately. Fastest lap, though, does belong to Nina Hahn, a 1:43.5. She has the purple lap for the time being. Let's see, though, if anyone can best that, considering, again, Emma Galliso not too far off. Sarah Dove, a 1:43. Uh-oh, was that Sarah Dove again? No. Who is that in the background? We have a spinner in the background, and I'm not sure who that is. Just taking a look, it's the number 20. Is it number 20? I think that might be Sasha Smith, unfortunately. She has returned to the pit lane. No, she's back out on circuit. That was the number 20 of Sasha Smith. It has not been a great day, unfortunately, for the number 20 in P20. Down at the back of the field, looking to recover here. She has made her, she still does need to make her pit stop as well. It's been a tough day here, unfortunately, for Sasha. See what she can manage there. Sarah Dove gaining another position as well, up at a 13th. Got the position over Saj Michelson in 14th, so managing to gain a little more ground. Just a little bit, it goes a long way. It's all about the mental game, to be honest. This is all such a difficult drive in these GR86s. Again, you're dancing on the pedals constantly, or using the accelerator and the gas at the same time whilst turning the wheel. It's not really the most intuitive car to get the most out of, and unfortunately, I think we are seeing that from the bottom. Also, we have Sheva Lyon cheering on Vicky in chat as well. So Victoria Thomas there, getting some love. I absolutely love to see that. Again, let us know who you are supporting. Who is your favorite driver out on track? Any one of them are a great choice. Victoria Thompson here in 3rd position, certainly a great choice as well. The 394 driver, she has had quite the experience in the past. I mentioned it. She won the Screen to Speed Women's Arena at the ADAC Sim Expo. She's also settled with Renwelten in one of the largest German ACC communities. As of course, she started sim racing back in 2020, got involved with Redline, then got involved with ACC tournaments and events, signing those up, and that's basically where she got involved with Renwelten. Again, one of the largest German, if not the largest German community in ACC. So that is heavy hitter and a hard-working individual is Victoria Thompson. Also, Ruby Acosta, I mentioned she took the qualifier for the Global Esports Games, or the Global, the Global Esports Game, but also the USEF qualifiers, the USEF.GG qualifiers, and secured her virtual seat on Team USA in ACC. But clearly, it doesn't matter what sim you put Ruby Acosta in. She is accustomed to about anything. We also, of course, have Nina Hahn. I mentioned her briefly earlier on. Another very accomplished sim racing, representing Olympus Esports and the Screen to Speed Dream Team. Finished in 2nd and 4th in the race, in the 2 races for the ADAC Sim Expo. Won the International Women's Day event back-to-back, as well as the Screen to Speed Winter Cup in February. So Nina Hahn, she knows how to win, and she's looking to make it one more tonight. But all of these drivers, of course, are looking to make it one more. There's only one driver that can win, and we're going to find out who. Is it going to be Ruby Acosta? Is it going to be Nina Hahn, Victoria Thompson, or Shersha Fitzpatrick? Again, another driver that's in this battle that I haven't been able to mention, really. There she is on your screen, because she's made her 1 stop already and has just been blisteringly quick since. Previous lap, a 1:43.6, almost the fastest lap in the server. She's only about 10 thousandths off of the fastest lap. Looking to really wring the neck of this GR86. She's a butterfly in a windstorm right now, that is no doubt. Looking, though, around the field, I will say I haven't seen too much of the gravel popping up onto circuit either. The dynamic gravel playing a big role, but thankfully most drivers have been keeping it fairly clean. They've been keeping it between the mayo and the mustard all the way around and been just, well, on their best behavior. Love those liveries as well. You can see the screen to speed logo on the front, but also that Christmas livery there for, I think that's Schiffer behind. Emilio also bringing quite a festive one to the occasion. Love to see the holiday sport. I hope everyone's having a great holiday time of year, I suppose, as we're getting close to the Christmas as the time of recording, with Christmas about 10 days away. So I hope everyone has a safe and happy holidays. From everybody here at Init Esports, we all wish you a nice and Merry Christmas. Or, of course, whatever you do celebrate. Happy Hanukkah, and so on and so forth. Sarah Dove, bottlenecked. This is not ideal. Sarah Dove needs to get by Jana Schiffer relatively quick. She's looking to make it happen quickly, but almost overcooks it. That was but we actually get a nice little overreaction from Jana Schiffer. The mistake from Sarah Dove, I think Jana thought that she was going to have a GR86 barreling into her B panel all of a sudden, and so decided to take evasive maneuvers. Sarah says, well, thank you very much. I didn't mean to do that, but I will take that position. Oh, goodness. Taking a look at Lubov here with Emilio behind. That GR86 is not the most showroom ready. It looks a little bit damaged there on the front end, unfortunately. The bonnet not quite square. We'll have to see if the mechanics get their hammers out when she goes down pit lane. And actually, no, Lubov has already made her pit stop. No, Victoria has not made her pit stop. Victoria Emilio has not. And I've just realized multiple Victorias, of course, on circuit. But welcome as well to absolutely everybody joining us. Trackalicious in the chat. Welcome, welcome. Renee in sixth position. Rebecca Renee here, stuck in the middle and looking to make moves. Let's see if she can do so with the likes of Wells ahead here. Not going to find any light of day just yet. Nina Hahn, Victoria Thompson, and Ruby Acosta. They need to pit. All three of those drivers. Actually, Ruby Acosta, I take that back, has made her pit stop. I did miss that. So she's out ahead of Saoirse Fitzpatrick. How did she manage that? Only 0.8 separating the two. Actually, I would call ahead maybe a bit of an overstatement. They're basically side by side right now as we have a four-way fight for the bottom step of the podium. And I think that's going to turn into the fight for the lead as well. Once Nina Hahn makes her pit stop, once Victoria Thompson makes her pit stop, this is gonna get spicy. Keep in mind, first position wins a $50 iRacing credit, 25 for second and third. So the money is on right now, and these drivers, they want it. They want that iRacing content. I would too, to be honest, if I was out on track. Look at this, though. Belle Wells. What do you do if you're Belle? Really just kind of sit and think and wait. That's all you can do. Is there's Rebecca Renee involved here as well. She's not too far out of the equation, but right now, Belle just kind of has a car behind, has a car in front. What do? You just kind of have to do what you got, get the lap times in, and as I mentioned earlier, she's just wrestling the ocean. It's a bit of a fortuitous fight that isn't working out for her, unfortunately. She's, okay, there we go. I actually like this strategy a lot. There we go. Pit stop from Belle Wells as she says, enough's enough. I'm going to come in for this one. I don't know how I'm going to gain these positions, but I'm going to do it through pit lane. That is the spirit. Sarah Dove tried that strategy, did have a good bit of success. She's up into the top 10, now make that into 8th, and I think she's going to gain 7th for her efforts as well. Belle Wells, I think, should drop this position to Sarah Dove as she's still in pit lane, and there we go. Lubov out on track, though, and in 6th position with Rebecca Renee ahead of Victoria Thompson, Saoirse Fitzpatrick, and now we have had Ruby Acosta and Victoria Thompson make her stop. Victoria has come out in 4th, so the overcut seemingly not working out for the drivers that stayed out for a while. Undercut strategy looking optimal, but can they hold it to the end? Well, they only have about 6 minutes to go before they really have to worry about that, so shouldn't be too much of an issue. Think that Cersei lost going through the field. Yeah, I definitely. Shisha, I have to agree with chat here. I think Saoirse pit a little bit too early, and she ended up getting stuck in traffic behind some of the back markers, or not even back markers. They were position drivers for the time. She just had to make her way through the other drivers, and that kind of cost her at the end of the day. This is Victoria Thompson chewing a hole in her back bumper, trying to get alongside, but not finding any fruition. These two have been locked up since literally lap 1. Nina Hahn has been the dominant force in this race, though, and led from the beginning. They had some squabbles between Victoria Thompson, between Shisha Fitzpatrick, and Nina was the one that came out on top every time. However, is it going to continue? Ruby Acosta, 4/10 to the good. Shisha Fitzpatrick right behind Ruby Acosta, and Victoria Thompson and Rebecca Rene soon to join the party. Look at the weaving left and right. Nina Hahn trying to defend with all of her might. Ruby Acosta ruthlessly looking for whatever length of ground she can find as they both negotiate the same piece of real estate. Only one can have it. It's a matter of who. You can cut the tension with a cricket stump in this race, as Murray Walker would say. This is absolutely incredible. I have no idea who is going to turn out on top. Will it be any one of these drivers in the top 5? It might not be, honestly. It might even be Lubov in 6th. I think any one of these drivers right now in the top 10 has an opportunity. Let's see, though, as Nina Hahn, really with the pressure of the world on her shoulders, she has 5 GR86 or 4 GR86s in the general shot there, just in her rearview mirror, and she is trying to keep them at bay. The Santa Sleigh, can she hold on? Let's see. Just a few more laps to go. 5 minutes to the good. Actually, 4 minutes left. Man, this race is absolutely flying by right now. We've seen them complete so far about, let's see, a good amount. I actually don't know how many laps. 27 laps. There we go. We've had 27 laps complete so far, and we are seeing a few more. With that, of course, Nina Hahn in the front. Ruby Acosta here biting a hole with Shisha Fitzpatrick, the driver that, in my opinion, is set up the best right now for the overtake. I would imagine we're going to see Ruby Acosta and Nina Hahn giving it their all. Shisha is going to sit in the background and wait for a move. Or is she actually? Now that I'm saying that, she's looking quite aggressive. Ruby Acosta is looking like quite the tasty morsel right now. And let's see, does the shark smell the blood in the water? No, not quite yet. The switchback, though, still on. Ruby Acosta has to plant that car pretty much dead center of the track. She doesn't. That almost allows the window for Saoirse, but no, the barn door got closed. And as we get into the S's here, you can kind of dip to the inside here and make a send happen, but you need to be fully alongside. It's not really worth it. Once we get to the bottom of the hill here and go into that hairpin, through the Atwood curve, you can again potentially send it through there. You can get down to the inside, you can get your elbows out and really muscle your way on through. She doesn't this time around, but she's gonna need to in the next few laps. We're gonna be getting down to some bumping and banging, I predict right now. These drivers have it all on the line. Only one driver can take home the $50 iRacing credit. Only two can take home the $25. Right now, all three are within a tenth of a second of each other. And just in the background, 1 second to the good is the other pack. This is amazing. Rebecca Rene and Victoria Thompson, I think they're going to catch back up here, but they only have 2 laps to do it. Getting down to the window here, folks. Get your energy in, chat. Now is the time. Ruby Acosta, can she do it? From America, battling the German with the Irish woman behind. This is electric. Again, one of the beauties of sim racing is that all these drivers can race with each other no matter where they are in the world. And no, we've had a spinner. Saoirse Fitzpatrick has overcooked it into Ruby's back bumper. Saoirse in tears at this point. No, absolutely gutting. It's been such a great race for the number 7. But Saoirse Fitzpatrick with just a slight little misjudgment. In fact, I mentioned at the top of the broadcast, these cars, they can go from crippling understeer to violent oversteer, and Fitzpatrick, unfortunately, was victim of that. It's one of the most spectacular incidents I've seen all day, and not in a good way. Absolutely gutting here for the Irish woman. But that being said, Victoria Thompson now on the podium and right behind Ruby Acosta. Actually, no, she's still within that second gap, but with Rebecca Rene, immediately they're still chomping at the bit. As Bon Jovi once said, living on a prayer, and I think that's about the best situation for these two right now, especially if your name is Rebecca Rene. Let's see, the outside line is what it's going to have to be. No slipstream to be had. You're going to have a little bit of a side draft from the car ahead, but these cars, they don't care about slipstream. They don't care about side draft. All that invisible mumbo jumbo doesn't matter. It's about who gets later on the brakes, and Rebecca Rene is the one to do exactly that. Absolutely incredible send there. Lyubov not really able to respond. Sarah Dove also involved here, but what a move from Rene up into fourth. Let's see, can she find Victoria Thompson? Saoirse Fitzpatrick also still, or actually I think that was Saoirse Fitzpatrick, my apologies, got that move done. Sarah Dove up into sixth. She's lost 3 positions from where she started, a gutting one for her, but still hats off to Dove here for an amazing recovery drive. And weaving around here as the checkered flag falls, Nina Hahn takes victory on Okayama. Elizabeth Ruby Acosta takes home second. Third belonging to Victoria Thompson, and it's a battle to the line for fourth. Rebecca Rene takes that home with Saoirse Fitzpatrick, a gutting fifth place finish. It could have been everything for her, but it unfortunately ended in a spin. Sarah Dove, similar situation, 6th position for her with the consolation from her spin. Lyubov taking home 7th with Jana Schiffer in 8th. Paolo taking home 9th for the number 16 machine. There is Victoria Melio in 13th position coming around the final corner now. Jenny Wilson takes home 10th. Belle Wells in 11th. Emma Galliso 12th. Victoria Melio, is the woman on screen, takes home 13th. We have Micah Plug behind there in 14th. We have Catherine Giebler in 15th. Ainsley Riot in 16th. Jessica Vesser in 17th. Mitchelson in 18th. Marin Edwards in 19th. And Sasha Smith, unfortunately, down in 20th position with a DNF. An unfortunate race there for the number 20. But all around, what an electric battle that we had from our top 5 drivers all the way around. Hats off from Nina Hahn, Ruby Acosta, Victoria Thompson, Rebecca Rene, Saoirse Fitzpatrick. Again, massive consolation prize there for Saoirse. She put on an absolute heart and sleeve effort, but unfortunately 5th position is all she got. Sarah Dove, similar situation there, could have had it all, but unfortunately just a little too much accelerator pedal or understeer. Actually, we never saw Sarah Dove's incident. Cost her everything, though, and again, just a gutting miscalculation for Saoirse Patrick. But an amazing race all the way around in the Screen to Speed Holiday Invitational. The second iteration of it absolutely was amazing. This has been truly an incredible championship, and we are going to be hearing from our drivers very, very soon. We're going to be rounding them up as, of course, right now they're celebrating with the champagne, and so, of course, got to get that to calm down just briefly, and we will be getting some of our drivers in here very, very shortly. So we will be getting that on here. But in the meantime, again, Nina Hahn, the driver to talk about for the whole of this event. She constantly is delivering left and right. Every championship, I swear, I see her in. She is amazing. All the way around, though, again, amazing work from the top 5 throughout. We're going to be hearing from them very, very shortly here. And as we do wrangle them up, round up our drivers, of course, trying to round up a bunch of racing drivers. I think you can imagine that. We have Victoria Thompson, though. We are going to be hearing her very, very shortly. Our 3rd place finisher for this event. And again, not the whole story. Victoria Thompson coming up very, very shortly. And we'll again be hearing that in a second with Rebecca Rene, though. I'm very curious. Again, consolation there to Rebecca Rene. She got 4th position just off the back, gave Victoria Thompson quite the hurry up throughout the entirety of the event. And to be honest, I mean, we'll be hearing from Ruby Acosta as well. She carved through the field like a Thanksgiving turkey. And so I'm very excited to hear what her race was like as well. We do have, though, a copy now from our 3rd place finisher, Miss Victoria Thompson. How are you feeling? as we hopefully have a copy here. I think we've lost her briefly. We'll be getting her back here in a second. In the meantime, though, of course, Victoria Thompson, one of those drivers that I had mentioned at the top of the broadcast, who has quite a lot of titles to her name, quite a lot of, well, everything. Of course, being a famous content creator. She's gotten, again, involved back in 2020 with Redline, organized some of the largest ACC events, and got involved with the Rennwelten community, one of the largest German communities on the face of Germany. I guess, fair enough, it's a German community, but also won the Screen to Speed Women's Arena at the ADAC Sim Expo 24, and with a first and third place finish. So this is just another notch that she can add onto her belt. And we, again, just minor technical difficulties, folks. We'll be getting her in a moment. So, of course, this is live TV. What would be anything without live TV? So, with that being said, again, I'll talk a little more about all of our drivers. Of course, Elizabeth Ruby Acosta taking home second position, and she was the one to qualify for the USEF.GG qualifiers. Again, I had the pleasure of commentating that race a while back. She took the victory in the women's category, and not just the victory in the women's category, she finished second or third place overall with a dominant result. Ruby Acosta is a driver that I have my eye on heading into 2025, no doubt. But with that, of course, all of these drivers are ones to keep an eye on, but Ruby Acosta in particular, like I say, very, very special all the way around. She clearly has a natural knack and a natural talent. I don't think she's been in sim racing for that long either. So very exciting to see what prospects she has in the future. And of course, our race winner, Nina Hahn, as I had mentioned earlier on, representing Olympus Esports, a prestigious content creator. You can look her up, Nina Hahn. I think she is a Downforce girl on Instagram. I'm going off of memory on that one, so please don't be too upset if I'm incorrect, but definitely check her out. Hit the follow button on her. And we have Olympus, like you say, representing Olympus Esports, as well as she finished second in race 1 and fourth in race 2 at the ADAC Sim Expo for women's, and won the International Women's Day race for Screen to Speed, as well as the February Winter Cup back in, yeah, you guessed it, February. So a prestigious driver as well. And each one of these drivers is an absolute, in their own right, a legend. Sarah Dove, unfortunate gutting result from Sarah Dove at the end of the day. She had, of course, finished second place at the Holiday Invitational last year, managed to represent the United States sim team as well, and was a part of the Screen to Speed Dream Team on top of that. So Sarah Dove, one of those drivers that had so much more in the belt, and unfortunately just wasn't quite able to get that final podium slot. And then, of course, we'll talk briefly about Shusha Fitzpatrick. Absolute gutting end here to her race. It could not have ended. It could have ended a lot differently, unfortunately, but it was the spin on the penultimate lap that cost her absolutely everything, and just absolutely gutting. I see we have the +1 to Sarah in chat. Let's go. We have Yana joining us. Welcome, Yana. Very, very welcome to have you along here for joining the Init Esports chat. We're going to get some interviews here very, very shortly. For anyone that's wondering what's going on, we're just trying to get the technical difficulties sorted, as of course, again, live TV, folks. It wouldn't be live TV if things didn't break on you last minute. Had them all working beforehand, but it is what it is. And that is live TV, like I said. But no, an amazing race all the way around. Sarah there in, again, 6th position, and tried her absolute best. My hearts are off to Sarah, and of course the +1, because she had it. She had it at the end of the day. Like I say, the spin early on the first few laps just cost her absolutely immensely, but it was a recovery drive of a century. She dropped pretty much smack dab to the back of the field and still finished 6th position. Absolutely amazing. Just behind Shisha Fitzpatrick. And with Luabov ahead, Luabov there was in a very good position as well. Of course, Love 46, one of the Init Talk hosts, or the Init Talk host, of course. I'm sure you all know that name very, very well. Love 46 finished 7th position, the number 46 driver. Wow, shocker. But Luabov with a 3 position gains. She started back in 10th, didn't quite have the greatest qualifying, but did have a great race. But Ruby Acosta, our biggest gainer, 6 positions overall. Another honorable mention for gains, though, of course, Belle Wells. She started in 16th position. Well, she managed to gain 5 positions for 11th in the final. That is not a bad effort when all is said and done. She was having a little scrap at the very end with Emma Galliso and did manage to hold off. So that was very, very exciting. And again, very, go back and check it out if you missed it. Why wouldn't you? It sounds like I'm hearing in my ears. We are going to be getting an interview here very, very shortly. I think we have managed to round up Ruby Acosta. So we'll be hearing from her very briefly. So don't go anywhere for that, of course. In the meantime, well, you're going to have the wonderful ramblings of Mike Noss to listen to. And yes, you guessed it. That's me. But an amazing race. The GR86s, man. Oh man. I love the GR86s. They are such a fun car to drive. And these drivers, of course, really giving it their all. The qualifying had me buzzing with how close all of the drivers were. Less than a 10th separating them. And once they got the actual race and the meat and potatoes, yeah, it was not a failure to deliver. Let's just say that. Constant battles from the green flag all the way to the checkered for the lead of the race. It was an electric race all the way around. And I wouldn't have wanted to do it any other way. Again, screen to speed, absolutely amazing, providing these opportunities for all of the women to get involved here with not just virtual motorsports, not just virtual esports, but real life motorsports, the actual real deal of racing an actual car. And of course, Saoirse Fitzpatrick has had that pleasure through screen to speed as well. So did Victoria Thompson, if I'm not mistaken, as well. So she, I'm pretty sure, had the opportunity to drive recently a car around the Nürburgring, if I'm not mistaken. Now, don't quote me which one it was, but I think she got to drive the Nordschleife from one of the screen to speed from the ADAC Sim Expo day. So I'm not sure if that's happened yet or if that hasn't. Either way, I did the research. I couldn't find it. But very, very exciting that she did win that drive. And of course, with screen to speed, the whole goal is just to create a pipeline to get more women involved with particularly male-dominated sport. And of course, all the way around, try and not just include just women, also female identifying as well as non-binary, trying to get the more underrepresented genders of motorsport, of life, into motorsports, of course, as that is just all the way around. Our goal here is the return on, not investment, the return on inclusion. That is the goal. ROI, return on inclusion, for screen to speed. And of course, that's what we're trying to promote all the way around. Also wanted to mention Sim for STEM. That was something I briefly touched on earlier in the broadcast, but I want to talk just a little bit more about it. It is truly one of the most amazing platforms I've ever heard of with sim racing. And I'm not even just saying that lightly. Steffi Bao, with the Sim for STEM team, has managed to get 17,000 young girls from Central Indiana, the Girl Scouts of Central Indiana, to get involved with sim racing, getting simulators for them, getting them involved to not just teach them driving early on, of course, at a young age, which will help them in real life, of course, with driving an actual car, which is the most important thing in American society, literally driving a car. So they're learning that at very young ages. They're also learning engineering, getting the passion and the drive for STEM, as that's, of course, what our main goal is to promote, is getting everyone involved, not just in the race car, getting them involved working on the car, getting them involved in the telemetry, the data, the behind the scenes, the broadcasting, the everything to do with motorsports. It's not just drivers. There's way more than just drivers in motorsports, in case you were curious. There's a lot more to do. And of course, we're trying to get everybody involved and get it's just get it more equal, as of course that's what it should be. We're not living in the 1950s anymore, folks. Let's get over that, and let's have some equality, of course. With that, I mentioned the Sim Expo a few times as well, and of course, I am so excited to say that the America is going to be getting the Sim Expo next year. It's coming to the Long Center, South by Southwest in Austin, March 2025. Get your tickets soon. There's tickets are going to go on sale very, very soon into next year. I'm pretty sure that's when they're going to open up. Highly recommend checking it out. I am going to be there no matter what. I cannot wait for America to finally have the biggest sim racing expo, the biggest sim racing event coming to our country. It's been a dominant event throughout Europe for the past 5+ years. And now finally, it's coming to America. And I just can't wait for the North American audience to get involved. I think sim racing is going to be massive in North America in the next 5 years, heck, even in the next 2 years. I think it's just the logical gateway to get involved with real motorsports. And again, it's the only esport that has a direct one-to-one transferable skill into real life. Sure, I'm not going to deny that other esports can have transferable skills. Of course, problem solving, reaction times, teamwork, all of that is applicable to in real life. I'm not denying that. It's more just that it is a directly one-for-one transfer instead. So with that being said, I think I have rambled on enough. We have Victoria Thompson that's going to be joining us here very shortly, as I am going to do the thing. I'm assuming I mute and vmix. I'm going to do that, and then we will get on Indeed. And now you guys can hear me. Apologies, chat. You guys didn't hear my questions, but that's okay. Again, it's not about me for this one. It is about Victoria and her drive here tonight. Victoria, before we do move on, of course, we got two other drivers that we are going to talk to. Is there anybody that you would like to thank for your podium finish here tonight? Indeed. And thank you very much, Victoria. I hope everyone heard that properly. I hope the audio was all good on that one. Either way, we'll be hopefully fixing that here shortly. But Victoria, have a great rest of your evening. Congratulations on your podium finish here. I think your iRacing prospects are quite big in the future. Thank you. We have Ruby Acosta that'll be coming up next, and of course, Nina Han in the third. We're going to be working briefly here to make sure that audio gets sorted here in the call. Again, apologies for the audio issues that we are having. It's, again, live TV, folks. You got to love live TV because it works every single time. Said nobody ever, to be completely honest. Nobody ever said that does live broadcasting. If you do live broadcasting, you know. So we do thank you guys for putting up with the, like I said, the minor technical difficulties that we have. In the meantime, while we still work on fixing that, I'll talk a little bit more about some of the other, of course, partners that we have here at the Screen to Speed movement, as well as at Init Esports as a whole. Of course, I mentioned the Sim Expo. It's what I was just talking about before we had that interview with Victoria. And so I hopefully would like to see Victoria at the Sim Expo in America. Obviously, we'll see about that, as it is quite the journey to go from Germany to there, as well as, of course, all the other drivers. But we have the Global Esports Federation that we're also in partnership with. That is what I mentioned earlier, with Elizabeth Ruby Acosta taking part in with the United States Esports Federation as well. So the United States Global Esports Federation providing the Global Esports Games for next year. And of course, the United States Esports Federation being Team USA, unofficial, virtual Team USA, is, I don't want to get hit with copyrights, but is, of course, the virtual United States esports team, as it is the goal to reach the Olympic platform pretty much. And with the combination of USEF as well as NASEF, they have been working together to provide a non-for-profit worldwide scholastic esports foundation. And just again, checking here, still waiting on the confirmation from the other interviews. And again, Steffi taking part in that. That's another reason to go and vote. Steffi, if Yvonne could post that link one more time to go and head over to do the votes for the Scholastic Esports. You can find a link there about that. And of course, we're racing on iRacing, partnered with iRacing for this one. The absolute one of the best simulators when it comes to realistic physics, when it comes to pretty much everything that you could imagine in the simulator world. Obviously, updating it constantly, has dynamic rain added now, has dynamic gravel added, updating their engine entirely very soon is what the rumor is, of course. So we're going to be looking at pretty much a new simulator maybe into 26 when it comes to iRacing. We'll certainly see. And of course, with the other simulators on the horizon, AC Evo, as well as plenty of others, of course, that are coming out that I won't name, I guess. Either way, it's plenty of other ones that are coming out that are available to check out as well. So the prospects for 2025 and into 2026 in sim racing are amazing. And of course, Sim Expo being at the front of that. Mentioned STEM for STEM as well, as of course back on October 11th, that was when that was founded, and getting involved with the Indiana, oh goodness, I forgot the pitch. Oh no, it's the Indiana Girl Scouts Federation. There we go. So I'm trying to remember a million different things all at one time whilst doing the whilst trying to figure out this the tech check here. So everything, it looks like it is going to be working here. So we are going to be getting an interview very, very shortly, and we will be getting Elizabeth Ruby Acosta in a matter of time. So very, very soon, we'll be seeing that. In the meantime, of course, I'll be babbling on just briefly. And again, what an amazing event we've had. You can check out all of our socials, by the way, at Init Esports on Instagram, on Twitter, and as well as you can head on over to initesports.gg to find out all of the information about every single thing that I'm talking about. All the information is available there as well. Now, with that being said, I think I have the pleasure of speaking with none other than the Global Esports Games representative, or the American team driver, now the second place finisher of the Screen to Speed Holiday Invitational, Miss Ruby Acosta. Do you have a copy?
Yeah, I'm here. Hello.
How is it going, Ruby? A second place finish. And on top of that, let's just not mention the elephant that's sitting on the top of our head. 6 positions gained. You're the biggest gainer of tonight. That must feel pretty good.
Yeah, I had a really bad qualifying. I couldn't really get used to the conditions, or rather, I feel like the car felt really different or something. I don't know. I just couldn't get together for qualifying. So for the race, I knew that I had the pace to just pass everybody, pass as many people as possible, and I had to be really aggressive and be really forceful with my overtakes, and it worked out. And I managed to get into that lead battle, but I just couldn't get the first place. And Nina was really fast, so props to her, really. And
yeah, I mean,
it was a lot of fun.
Oops, sorry. No, it really, that was, I gotta say, you put on an absolute show getting those overtakes done. Like you said, you were a woman on a mission for that one. Started back in 10th, or excuse me, back in 8th. No, yes, 8th. And managed to gain up 6 to 2nd. And you gained that position over Victoria Thompson in one of the most stellar overtakes I think I've ever seen. Do you want to talk about that one?
I actually don't quite remember it. It just happened sort of in a blur. So I was just so super focused on trying to get to the top 2 over there that they were battling. I knew that if I was going to have a chance, I needed to get around like super quickly. And so I really just had to just push out the way. And yeah, I don't really recall what happened, but yeah, it was something that I had to do in order to have a shot at it, have a shot at the win potentially.
No, it was a hard-fought overtake that was committed from a little bit of a ways back, but it was clean as ever, and you forced the mistake from Victoria Thompson as well, and then just sort of took it with both hands, walked away into the sunset, and you didn't look back. And again, 8/10 off of Nina Han at the end of the day. Obviously, 8/10 does not tell the whole story. That was an incredible finish all the way around, an incredible drive from Ruby. Now, how much experience do you have on the iRacing platform?
Not as much as other platforms. I just got back into it this month. I was practicing. I was doing the Brit Car 24 hours at Silverstone with my new team, Samantha Tan Racing, last month, and we managed to win it. So I came off of that, and before that, I only touched iRacing for like a little bit. I had a bit of a hiatus, so I had to sort of get, like, throughout these past few weeks, I've really just been trying to get the experience that I need to try and catch up with the rest of everybody who's been on iRacing for a while. And I feel like it paid off. It wasn't enough to get the win, but I still feel pretty proud of myself. I mean, it's a completely new
I think you
platform.
Certainly should.
It's a completely new platform, and there's new challenges to that. So that's pretty good.
Indeed. And coming from ACC, of course, and I know, as I'm a primarily ACC driver as well, the physics are not quite the same. The models, the slip angles, the amount you turn the wheel in when you get on the accelerator, how much power gets delivered to the wheels, all of that is a very different feel for anyone who doesn't know and hasn't had the pleasure of driving on iRacing and ACC. So it's really amazing to see it. Also, getting involved with the Samantha Tan Racing team, that's something I couldn't find in my notes, Ruby. When did that happen? That's amazing.
Late October, and it was just a big surprise to me. Like I'm really happy that I got on board and just but I really have to thank Queen Design for helping me get to this level, to even be noticed, even be considered for STR Esports. And so far, we already have one big accolade to my name, and I'm looking for a lot more. And hopefully next year, a lot more gets into action. So stay tuned, I suppose.
Indeed. Some lands on the future, maybe? Some land victories on the future for you, potentially?
Yeah, maybe.
Love it. Absolutely love it. Now, Ruby, before I let you go here tonight, you kind of already answered my question a little bit, but I'm going to ask it again anyways. Who would you like to thank for your second place finish here tonight?
I'd like to thank Cam for helping me get used to iRacing, helping me with training on iRacing, who is at Samantha Tan Racing. I'd also like to thank Queen Design, especially Anor Rose, Mia Rose, for helping me even get started in the first place. And I'd like to thank all of my friends who've been helping me the past few months. I've not been doing too great, but thankfully they lifted me up, and things are starting to look up, especially like coming into the winter. So I'm looking forward to next year.
That's really glad to hear, Ruby. I hope things do look up for you as well, and I'm certain they will with the pace that you have and the pace that you display here tonight for the Holiday Invitational. Now, Ruby, have a great rest of your evening and enjoy the champagne as well, please.
Thank you.
That was Elizabeth Ruby Acosta, everybody. Your victor, second place finisher here for tonight. Soon up is going to be the victor. We are going to be talking with Nina Hahn here very shortly as well. And I'm sure she's eager, as well as probably, again, already had the champagne bottle cracked for a little bit now. But I think we do have Miss Nina Hahn joining us here as well. Your race victor for the 2024 Winter Invitational. How's it feel, Nina?
Hi. Awesome, obviously, because winning a race is always great. And yeah, doing that with the minimal preparation that I had feels even better because it was a quick learning session. I only started practicing today and then just did a couple of hours right before the race because I didn't have my rig set up. But yeah, glad to be back. It's been a while since I've done any of the Screen to Speed events. I wasn't around for the last 2 season cups, I think. So yeah, great to be back to an event and even better to win it.
Indeed. Now let's talk a little bit about this race here tonight. Obviously, we can talk a little bit about your past as well, but I want to talk about tonight because you were absolutely dominant from the green flag. Now, Saoirse Fitzpatrick gave you a run for your money. You two were having a little bit of a bout. I would even go as far as calling it a bit of a knife fight in a phone booth. And obviously, Saoirse unfortunately went for that early pit and then had the spin a little bit later. But Nina, you held on like no other. You lost the position once. She went for it. You went back for it. You lost the position again. You went back for it. It was ruthless. It was clean. And it was absolutely electric to watch.
Yeah, it's always great to race with Saoirse. It's just I've been around her for quite a while now. I actually met her through Screen to Speed, and yeah, it's always fun racing with her. And don't just take the end result as what it is because it wasn't easy keeping the lead and regaining it and everything. So when she passed me, I was like, yeah, okay, should we try running away from the guys behind? But then I was like, okay, I'd rather just be in front, and then if the others catch up, then they have her to deal with first. So that's why I went for the repass and everything. And luckily, that all worked out as I imagined it. And I really didn't know how my pit strategy would work out. I even overshot my pits. So I had to reverse in it and lost a bit of time that way, which then just resulted in a great, just race towards the end where it was really close and Ruby was coming closer and closer. And I was happy that I didn't have to battle with her because she's very quick. And I was just trying to, okay, keep it safe, don't overdo it, don't spin out, and yeah, keep it on track and do enough to just stay in front. That was my goal at the end then.
And you did exactly that, to be fair. I mean, you finished just about a second ahead of Ruby Acosta, which isn't much. And again, it does not go to tell the whole story. You look at the margins, you look at the deltas, it does not tell the whole event because, of course, you go and look back at qualifying. I mean, you qualified pole position. You say you didn't have much practice for this event. But one thing that I was looking at in the free practice session in particular that just blew my mind before I even said this to the broadcaster, everybody behind the scenes before we came in, the lap times were separated by the top 5 were separated by 1/10 of a second. I mean, how do you mentally prepare for that going into the qualifying? I mean, obviously you just got to do what you can do best, right? It's just all about delivering your best result and hoping it's better than the rest. I mean, why don't you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. So in practice, I didn't really feel that comfortable with the conditions. It was a bit warmer and everything. And as I said, I had limited practice, and the practice I did was basically exactly in the quali conditions. So that's why I then was able to really like put one lap together. I think I only had one good timed lap because I either lost some time somewhere on my own, or I had I think Saoirse spun in front of me at one point and stuff. But obviously, if you look at the end of practice and see like how close everyone is, I was happy to be up there at the front, but I was also okay. This quali is not going to be easy. I really have to see how I like where I even start my lap in in relation to all the other cars, not to be too close or too far away or something like that. I mean, I didn't have draft in the end for quali, but yeah, it was difficult to position my car somewhere, and then I had this one great lap, and yeah, I was really happy that I held it together until the end.
No, you absolutely did. Now, I'm not going to keep you for too long. Obviously, I just have a couple. I want to ask you a million questions. We don't got the time for it, unfortunately. How was the new iRacing update? Now, I mean, obviously, they just added in the fact that gravel can get sprung amongst the tracks. We can have dirt on the circuit, and Okayama is a track where that can be quite the issue at times if you're not too careful. How did that play a role throughout the entirety of the qualifying and the race?
Yeah, as I said, like only today I put my rig back up, so I didn't have my rig for the whole since the update basically. So I also right after this, I'm gonna jump back in and do some other stuff that I want to try, the BMW and the GTPs I want to try out and everything. But yeah, the gravel is also one thing that was new for me, and I did my practice, but in my practice I didn't really have that much gravel on track basically. And then the practice was a very good a practice for it because it gave me the opportunity to just feel out, okay, how much sooner do I have to brake if there is some debris in the braking zones, or how does it behave in the middle of the corner, you wash out a bit, and how to counteract that. And yeah, I had to speed run the learning process a little bit, but I'm happy everything worked out, and yeah, I think I did all right.
Love it. I mean, you did the best that you possibly could. There is no better result. So I think at the end of the day, it is certainly nothing to be disappointed in. And if anything, I'd say I would give yourself a pat on the back for that one. And of course, I will add, there we go. Of course, I'm going to ask you the question I've asked all the drivers. Is there anybody that you would like to thank before we let you go here tonight?
Yeah, I mean, as always, my team, Olympus Esports, because I don't know, it's just such a great environment with all of them, and the team boss Charles, obviously, always. He did the livery for it. It's such a pretty livery, in my opinion. It's our mascot, towing the sleigh and everything. It's really cool, and I'm so happy to be with the team, and hope to do more races in the future with them. And also thanks to all the Init people, everyone who's involved, to all the broadcasting and everything, for making this happen and having the opportunity for us to race there and have that broadcast. That's always a very special thing to me. I love rewatching races here and there for me. So yeah, I will definitely be rewatching this one. And yeah, thanks everyone.
Pressure's on now. No, thank you very much. Nina Hahn, everybody, your race victor here tonight for the Screen to Speed Holiday Invitational. Nina, enjoy the champagne.
I will. Thanks.
Thank you. With that being said, everybody, I think we are going to be drawing a conclusion. I do want to take a moment here to mention, again, all of our partners here at Screen to Speed and Init Esports. We have, of course, the Global Esports Federation, the United States Esports Federation. We have Women's in Motorsports North America, as well as iRacing, Fanatec, and, of course, the Sim.Expo. All of these coming up very soon. If you want any more information, head on over to initesports.gg. That is where everything that I have mentioned here tonight, including this race, can be talked about, heard about, and head on down to the Discord as well if you are looking to get involved with a really wonderful community and just share your passion for not just motorsports, but getting women involved with motorsports as well. Now, with that being said, We are going to be concluding this stream here tonight. Absolutely amazing. Let's just go over our top 3 one more time. It's Nina Hahn taking the victory for the number 21 car, Ruby Acosta in second, and third position belonging to Victoria Thompson. An amazing race all the way around. Okayama never failing to deliver. The GR86 is an absolute load of fun as well. But with that being said, we are going to be concluding here tonight. I've been Mike Noss. Big thank you to everybody behind the scenes as well. Garrett, Sophie, Yvonne, everybody that makes these productions possible here at Init Esports. I hope everybody has a lovely evening, afternoon, or morning, wherever you are in this fine world. Thank you, and good night.